Flosstube, welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and I'm the Lancashire Stitcher. Today is Sunday the 17th of July 2022 and this is Flosstube number 49. If you're new here, welcome. This is a channel mainly about cross stitch, but I do include other crafts sometimes, and I also talk about walks that I've been on. And if you're returning, welcome back. It's lovely to be chatting with you all again. I've been on the Isle of Skye in Scotland for the last week, so it's 3 weeks since my last video. I've got a bit to show you and a bit to talk about, so yeah, I'll talk about Skye later on. I had a lovely week, so yeah, so let's get going. I have a finish and it is this is Take Time to Stitch by Jeannette Designs, and it's a lovely little stitch, all different sorts of stitches in there. It's stitched on, there's a little tag, 36 count Milk and Honey by Fibre on a Whim. So yeah, there we go. I do like that. I'm going to give away the chart and the leftover threads for this later on. So yeah, there we go. That's that one. That's my little finish. Lots of beads on there too. So that's that one. So I'll put that over there. And then my whips. So first one, as usual, is my Lady of the Flag by Mirabilia. And again, I've not got the picture. Not brought it up with me. It was downstairs somewhere. And oh, there we go. There we go. So, as you can see, I've done a bit more of the blue on the flag. I haven't done much on her over the last few weeks. Through various things. But yeah, she has had a bit of work on her on the flag. This fabric is 32 count Hurricane Murano Ligana by Pole Stitches. There we go. Lady of the Flag. She'll be stitched on again later today. It's Sunday, so it's Lady of the Flag Day. And then Native Room. The next one is Royal Holiday by Mirabilia. Stitching this as part of the Royal Holiday SAL, USNZ Royal Holiday SAL, along with Globetrotting Stitcher Amy, who's finished it, Sarah Stitch Addict, who's finished it, Nancy Duquette, and I keep forgetting what her name is now. It's down below anyway. Andreas and Kate the Scottish Stitcher. And I'm not sure if I've actually stitched on her over the last 3 weeks. I'm sure I must have, but I know I have been quite busy on Wednesdays over the last few weeks. So I'll show her anyway. But yeah, there we go. Bit creased. It's been in my bag. I took her away with me, but then I didn't manage to stitch on her on Wednesday. So yeah, there we go. There's Royal Holiday. She's stitched on 32 count Dusky Rose Murano Ligana by Pole Stitches. There we go. That's that one. And the next one is my Mill Hill Monday piece, and it's Snowman with Cocoa, Jim Shore. So I've done that much. So the scarf's done. I've done the beads on the scarf and the cup's done, and then I've started on the body. So I did stitch on this while I was away. Yep, there's Snowman with Cocoa. And then the next one is my Simple Gifts Grace by Praiseworthy Stitches. Stitching this as part of the Praiseworthy Stitches SAL, along with Hazel, Crafty Lucy Lou, on Instagram. So I was doing one strand a day, but I've not stitched on it while I've been away, and that's what I've got done so far. So it's all the way across the top. This here's the other corner, and I'm just finishing off this motif. Last night I did the letter R, yeah, there we go. Praiseworthy stitches. This is just 32 count antique white Belfast linen, and I'm using the DMC equivalents that are given on the chart. And then my next one is my travel stitch that I don't get to stitch on very often these days, and it's Stitch All the Things by Erica Michaels. I did stitch on this while I was away. I'm doing the cushion. So yeah, this stays in the hoop and then it's ready to stitch on, and that is what I've got done. So while I was away, I finished the H, and then I've done the scissors and the bits over and above, and then I did the word all. So there we go. This again is 32 count antique white Belfast linen, and it uses Weeks Dye Works threads and 1 DMC. I think the DMC is the grey on the scissors, the light grey. So yeah, that's Stitch All the Things. And then my next one is my I Dare You SAL piece. That's been run by Sarah of Marnie's Mixed Bag. I talked about it in my last video. She drew the number 2. My number 2 was Random Thoughts by the Drawn Thread. So the idea is that I finish this by the end of the year, stitching on it when I can. So yeah, so I've already stitched a little bit on it while I was away. Let's get my thing. So while I was away, this is how it is so far. While I was away, I did the letter A, I've done this tree, and I did this little tree over here. So yeah, so that's Random Thoughts by the Drawn Thread. Yeah, that tree's got different stitches on it, so different colours. I think it uses all sorts of different threads, needle point silks and things like that on there. So yeah, that's that one. And then my next one is Mermaid Fraktur by Plum Street Samplers. This was one of my June Letters of the Month pieces, and the goal was to finish at least the second Mermaid. And as you will see, let's use the board, it's easier. Right, as you will see, I finished the second Mermaid. I also did these 2 fish here, I did this fish here. So I did a little bit more than I needed to, and it's all creased up. I'm sorry, it's been in the bag again. So yeah, that's that one. This is I'm not sure what fabric it is. It's Crafty Kitten fabric. So yeah, there you go. And then my next one is Let There Be Peace by Imaginating. This is one of my July Letters of the Month pieces, and the goal was to do at least 6 hours on it. And that is what I've got done. So basically I've filled in the snowmen with white, and then there's a bit of white down here as well. I've done these blue bits at the side, and then I've done the tree, and there's white here as well. So it was a lot of white stitching. This fabric is some sparkly 14 count Ada that I had in my stash, and it looks really nice on this fabric. So yeah, that's that one. And then that's all my whips. So I have done quite a bit of stitching. I did quite a bit while I was away at night, because we're in the cottage at night, apart from when we've been on long walks. So yeah, but yeah, I'm quite happy with how much I've got done over the past 3 weeks. Right, giveaway winner. So in my last video I was giving away this. It's a Shannon Christine design called Excuse the Mess, and the winner is Yorkshire Crafter. So congratulations. If you message me or email me, all the information's in the description box below. I'll get it in the post to you as soon as I can. So like I said, I do have another giveaway, which I'll do at the end. Knitting. Right, I actually managed to finish finish this blanket. I finished it before I went away actually, and then just didn't post. I usually post things on Instagram and Facebook when I finish them, but I've not done this. So the blanket is completely finished. So yeah, I made a mistake, but because I'm giving it to my daughter, I just thought, when I realised I've made the mistake, I just thought, it doesn't matter. I've got 2 bobble next to each other on the last row. And I only realised, because I was doing it when I was at the craft group on a Friday that I do, and I've been teaching people how to crochet, and once I got them going, I'd carry on with my knitting. And I realised that I'd done that after I'd done the first row of bobbles, and I was started on the second row, and I just thought I'd have to undo quite a bit. If I was giving it away or selling it or whatever, of course I'd have undone it, but because it's my daughter, I'm sure she won't mind. So yeah, it's completely finished. Finished the blanket that I started 4 years ago. So I'm going to pack that up and send it to my daughter, because she said she'll use it as a lap blanket for my grandson in winter. Talking about winter, when it's a heat wave, I've got the fan on. You might be able to hear it in the background because it's quite warm. It's not as warm as it's going to be over the next few days, but it's warm today. So yeah, so that's my knitting. So I'm going to look in my knitting whip box and pick something else that I can knit on at the library. So yeah, I'm glad that's done. Been wanting it finished for a while, but yeah, it's done. Yay! So yeah, I've been talking about it for a while on my videos. So yeah, it was Hayfield Baby Chunky yarn that it was knit with. All the information will be in the box below. Oh dear, right, walks. Wow, I've been on quite a few walks in the last 3 weeks. On my last video, I said I was doing a walk around Abbey Village and Tockholes the day after I did my video with the walking group. I'd done a recce of it, and then 10 people came on my walk. We had a good time. It was quite an enjoyable walk. So yeah, that went really well. I might have 1 or 2 pictures of that, because when I'm leading walks I don't tend to take so many pictures. And then a few days after that I did another recce to Peel Tower. Now Peel Tower is on Holcombe Moor, which is near Ramsbottom. The walk I did was 10 miles long, and although when I actually do the walk it's only going to be 9.5 miles, because when I do the first recce, I usually do 2 recces of a walk, and when I do the first one it's making sure I've got the route right. So sometimes I'm going out of the way a bit, and I end up walking more than I should do. So that was 10 miles long, that walk, and it was a lovely walk up the hill to the Peel Tower, and then across the moor down into Ramsbottom, and then back up the hill to Holcombe Village where I'd parked the car. So that was a lovely walk. And then the week after that I went doing another recce for another walk that I'm going to do, which is from Hebden Bridge, which is in Yorkshire. I actually got the train over to Hebden Bridge. I just thought it'd be nice just to get the train over. So this took me up to Studley Pike, and I've been told it's Studley Pike after calling it Stoodley Pike for so many years. And then I was talking to somebody who I walk with regularly, and they said it's not Stoodley, it's Studley. They grew up near it, so I was told straight it's Studley Pike. Which is another tower on a hill, which I just seem to like towers on hills. And that was another 10-mile walk that I went on, walking along the canal, and then you go up the hills up to Studley Pike, and then back round to Hebden Bridge. So that was another nice walk. I'm doing that one in August for the group. The Peel Tower one I'm doing at the end of this month. So yeah, and then I was asked if I would be involved in a school thing where we walked children up to Darwin Tower. Apparently the children, it's a local school, they've been learning about Darwin and Darwin Tower as part of their history lessons and geography. So the teacher wanted to go up to Darwin Tower. So there was myself and a man from a local group who took a group each up in the morning. Obviously we had staff from the school like they were basically responsible for the children. We were just there to lead the walk. We took them up to Darwin Tower and then back down again, and then in the afternoon we took another group each up to Darwin Tower and then back down again. So basically I did 8 miles that day. It was 2 miles each way to the tower, so 4 miles each group. The children did really well. The first group, we had a lot of I hate walking to Darwin Tower, but you know, they made it and we got back eventually. And the second group were much better. They were obviously used to walking. So yeah, it was year 2, so 6 and 7-year-olds who did it, and yeah, it was fun. But yeah, it was a good walk. I felt it on the second time going up the tower, especially when I'd done a 10-mile walk the day before. So but yeah, it was quite enjoyable going up to the tower. The weather was good. It did rain slightly on the first group, but nothing, you know, we didn't get drenched or anything. And then I was on Skye. So Isle of Skye. I've been to the Isle of Skye before. I went 5 years ago with my husband and we did a few walks back then. But we wanted to go back because the first time we went in October, so the touristy type places were closed. So we decided that we'd go this year because we'd no plans to go abroad this year. We said we'd give it a couple of years after COVID, before when things start settling down again, before we think about going abroad. So we booked a holiday on Skye. I'll try and remember to put a map up of where Skye is. There were a few walks I wanted to do while we were on Skye, but then you have to remember that my husband isn't a walker, he's a golfer. And the first full day we were there, in fact before we went to Skye we stopped off at Stirling, which is in Scotland, for one night. We stayed in a hotel because we wanted to go to see the kelpies, which are 2 horse heads made out of metal, and we wanted to go to Stirling Castle. So we booked for a night in a hotel before we went up to Skye, and so we did that one day, and then the day after we drove 5 hours plus up to Skye. And then, like I say, when we were on Skye, the first full day I thought, right, let's get the longest walk out the way. And this was a walk that I wanted to do to 2 hills called McLeod's Tables. They're called that because they're flat on top. I'll put a picture up. So we set off. We had to drive to the start of the walk, and my husband just complained for the first couple of miles because there were no paths, because it was boggy. He had walking boots on. He's got a pair of walking boots, but he didn't understand how we could walk when there isn't a path. And I said, well, this is what I do. You know, you just aim for something. You just think, right, we're heading for that over there, that hill, that fence, that whatever, and you walk to it. And he just didn't understand that, and he just moaned the whole way. We did 2 miles and I'd had enough. We got to the top of a little hill that, you know, basically when the walk was going up one hill, then you went up another hill which was a bit higher, and then you went up to the first McLeod's Table, and then you went across to the other McLeod's Table. But no, we got up to the top of the first hill, stopped for lunch, and I thought, he's not going to cope with this, you know, because it was going to involve a bit of scrambling up one of the tables. And he was moaning so much, and I just said, right, shall we just go back? Shall we just go back to the car? And he said, I said we could go to Nice Point. Nice Point is a lighthouse. There's a lighthouse there. So he said, yeah, let's do that. So we walked the 2 miles back, which he moaned again because he was getting wet, and yeah. So, and then we got back to the car, and took our boots off, put our shoes back on, and drove across to Nice Point. And Nice Point, you park on a car park, and then it's a walk down and then back up and then down to the lighthouse, and you can't get near the lighthouse, so we didn't go near the lighthouse. We went up to the top of the hill, took pictures, and then walked all the way back. And that was nice because he liked that because there was a path. So yeah, so we did that. I've put pictures up of these things as I'm talking about them. Anyway, so then I thought, right, so that scraps quite a few of the walks I wanted to do, because there's a walk to the fairy pools, which would have been nice, but that was going to be boggy, so I thought there's no point even trying to do that because he won't like it. Anyway, so there was the Queerang, which we did do. Now, the walk I had for the Queerang, you went through the Queerang, then you went up a steep hill, and then you walked over the top and back down. And I just thought, well, we can walk through because I know there is a path going through the Queerang, and then we'll see how it is when you get up on the top. Anyway, so we walked through the Queerang and it was fantastic. Basically, there's lots of rocky pinnacles and cliffs for you to look at as you're walking through. So I knew he'd like that because he likes his geology. So anyway, so we walked through, and there were a lot of people there, but a lot of them just walked so far, did a selfie with the rocks in the background, and then walked back. They didn't do the actual walk. So we walked through the Queerang, and it's quite rocky. There's quite a few bits where you have to climb the rocks and things to get through, but he was okay with that. He was fine. There was a path. He was fine. And then we got to the bit where it's like a steep climb up to a fence, and there's a stile, and you climb over the stile, and then you're walking over the fields over the top of the Queerang. But there did seem to be a track, so he was quite okay with that. It was very windy, but he wasn't too bothered about that. And then apart from where the path went right near the edge of the cliff, and he'd be walking over there, I was on the path, and he said, I'm not walking on the path, it's too windy. And I said, yeah, but the wind's blowing the other way, it's not going to blow me off the cliff. So, but no, he had to walk over the field. And then we got over the other end back towards the car park, and it was quite muddy. The path went quite muddy, and he decided he was climbing up the hill to get out of the mud. So I'm thinking, what's he doing? What's it like? Because I couldn't hear him because it was so windy. So I followed him, thinking, don't know what he's doing. And we were still walking in muddy field, and you know, it was on a hill, you were walking, it was a slanted hill, so your feet was at an angle, it was muddy. And eventually I managed to talk to him, and I said, why have we come up here? He said, well, it's muddy down there on the path. I said, it's muddy here. So I went back down to the path, and I said, it's mud, it doesn't kill you, it's mud, that's why you've got boots on. So eventually he came down on the path, and then we got to near the cliff, near the car park, and it was a steep hill down, and it was rocky. It was quite difficult to get down, but we did it, and he actually slipped at one point and rolled over, but he managed to get up. It was a bit muddy, but not too bad. But yeah, it was quite a tough climb down the hill. So yeah, but it was a really enjoyable walk. It was only 4 miles, which the husband can't believe it was only 4 miles. It felt longer, he said. I said, well, that's how far 4 miles is, you know. But it was quite a tough walk. But yeah, every time we walked, he said, we've walked further than that. We've not only done that distance. It's like, no, that's how far we've done. I had my OS Maps app on my phone, and it was tracking the walk, so I knew exactly how far we'd done. But he wouldn't have it. We've done further than that. We must have done at least, about 6 or 7 miles. No, we haven't. We've done 4. So yeah, walking with a non-walker is really hard work. But now he knows what sort of walks I do. Oh dear me, but yeah, it was hard work. Anyway, so then another day we went on a walk to Hughes Castle. So Hughes Castle is basically, when you look at it, it looks like a pile of rocks. But it's a 17th century fortress that's just been left to rot, basically. And it was only a short walk. It was only a 2 mile walk, and it was a path. I was looking for walks with paths that had something to look at that he wanted. He didn't see the point in just walking. So yeah, so we went to Hughes Castle. When we got there, you couldn't get in it because, like I say, it's just a pile of rocks. There was like a window, but there was a big sign saying danger, do not enter. And then there were fences because it was on the edge of a cliff. And my husband's like, well, how did they get in it? How did they get, I can't see a doorway. I said, well, it's probably around the other side. Why would it be on the other side? It's a cliff. It's like, it was built in the 17th century, so the cliff was probably further away from the edge of the building than it is now. Anyway, when we got back to the house, I looked it up and it said that the way in used to be on the upper floor, and they used to have a ladder up to the entrance. So obviously it's not there anymore because it's much smaller than it was. So yeah, so that was that. So yeah. We also went to something called the Island of the Museum of Island Life, which had all the old croft houses that you could look in, and that told you about what it was like to live there like years ago before the clearances and things. And we went to Flora MacDonald's memorial. Flora MacDonald was around Bonnie Prince Charlie, so we had a look at that. And then we went to Dunvegan Castle and looked in the gardens. We went to Portree. We went on the ferry across to the Isle of Skye, because there's a distillery there. We went for a tour around the distillery. I don't drink alcohol, but I still went for the tour because that's what he likes to do. And they give you a taste of whiskey, and yeah. So yeah, it wasn't nice. I had a taste of whiskey in my mouth for quite some time afterwards, and then we got the ferry back over to Skye. So as I say, it was a lovely week. The weather was cloudy. It wasn't as hot as it's been here apparently. It did rain, but mainly at night. But yeah, it was a lovely week, lovely relaxing holiday. The views were spectacular. But we said we have noticed a big difference in the number of people there because there's now a bridge over to Skye. People can get over there easily. And yeah, it's just very much tourist place now. So yeah, and my mum and dad used to go quite a lot when I was younger. I was old enough to stay at home, so I didn't go with them, and they used to say it was like going through a time warp back in time because things used to be closed on Sunday. You couldn't do anything on a Sunday because that's Skye. You know, you couldn't go to the shop or anything because it was shut, and it was all very much farmland. You know, where now there's a lot of holiday homes over there. And we were talking to somebody at Eilean Castle, which we went to as well, on the way back. That's on the mainland. And they were saying about how, because all the houses are turning into holiday homes, you can't get staff for anything. Even at Eilean Castle, they can't open the coffee shop at the moment because they can't get staff, because nobody lives right there anymore. It's all holiday homes. So it's a shame really what's happening to the islands and things. But yeah, the place we stayed in, it was like a little chalet, and it was on the grounds of somebody's house. So somebody lived in the house, and then they rent out this little two-person chalet in the garden basically. But there were lots of holiday homes, lots of houses that were, you know, they had boards outside saying holiday home. So yeah, it is such a shame what's happening to them. That's the way things are at the moment, I suppose. I don't know what the solution is. So, but yeah, we had a fantastic week. It was lovely. It was a long 12-hour day to get back. We set off at 7 o'clock in the morning, Friday morning, and we stopped off at Eilean Castle because it was quiet. On the way up it was packed, so we weren't going in on the way up. On the way down, we got there at 9 o'clock. It had only just opened. We were the first people in it, so it was nice. As we came out though, the car park was filling up with coaches and cars, so yeah, we're glad we went when we did. And then we drove back and we didn't get home until coming up for 7 o'clock at night. It was a very long day, but yeah, it's nice to get home. So that's my holiday. That was Skye. I'll do like a little slideshow of pictures, and I did a couple of videos as well of different things. I'll put it at the end, so if you want to see that, it'll be at the end. Right, so now I've waffled on for quite some time. I'll do the giveaway. So the giveaway, as I said earlier, I'm going to give away this chart, Take Time to Stitch, by Jeannette Douglas Designs. It's got all the instructions for all the different stitches in there, and I'm also going to give away the threads that I've got left, because I bought a little thread packet. I got the chart from Nimble Thimble, and I also got the threads because it's I can't even remember what threads it uses. Gloriana Silks, Belsoir by Classic Colourworks, and Thread Gatherer Silk and Colours. So all you'd need to do is you provide the beads. It uses one lot of Mill Hill beads, and then there's a scissor charm there, which I'm sure you could get hold of somewhere, or you could just miss it out. So let's think. So there should be enough threads there to do it, to do the design. So let's have the word time, T-I-M-E, time. So if you say the word time in your comment, you don't have to make a sentence, just put the word time, and I'll draw it on my next video, which is going to be the weekend of 30th or 31st of July. I know I'm doing my Peel Tower walk that weekend, so it's probably going to be the Saturday. I'll do it on the 30th. If you comment before the 30th of July with the word time, you've got a chance of getting this. Please don't say the word draw, win, giveaway, anything like that. That tells people I'm giving something away. Please be over 18 so you can give me your address. And yeah, make sure you say the word time, and I'll do that in my next video. So I think that's it for today. I think I've talked about it, and it's been quite a long waffle. So, and I'll have the video, I'll add things on at the end about my Skye holiday. So yeah, so my next video, probably to the 30th, maybe the 31st of July, depending on how things go. So have a good 2 weeks. It will be 2 weeks this time. Take care of yourselves and those you love. Be kind always, and happy stitching. Bye for now.